My name is Angelina Avedano, and this is InterSpace, where we explore the spaces between us. Join me for discussions on a series of realities with thinkers, writers, thought leaders, and artists. Pratima Panormati founded the nonprofit organization Volunteering for Seniors with her husband Ram in June of 2021. Pratima states, "We at Volunteering for Seniors strongly believe that by immersing oneself in a community and surrounding oneself with people who are dedicated to bettering the world, we can learn so much about how the world works." We sat down on April 2nd, an auspicious day celebrated in many parts of India as the New Year. I know my listeners will truly resonate with Pratima's wisdom, passion, and service to humanity. As she says, there is a kind of healing magic that happens when people come together with a shared interest or purpose. Welcome, Pratima. I'm so happy to have this conversation with you on InterSpace today. And as it happens, it is Ugadi Festival, the Hindu New Year. So happy New Year. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you're doing today to celebrate.
Oh, thank you very much, Angelina, for having me today on your podcast. Yes, today is a very special day for us, for our Hindus. So Ugadi is our New Year. So we come from Andhra Pradesh in India, and certain sects in India, certain states in India, we celebrate today. That becomes our New Year. So when you say New Year, this is a time, we pray to our deities, and it is a combination of, we make certain special dishes, which actually indicates that life is a mixture of bitterness, sourness, sweetness, and everything mixed together. And one has to carry on life in that fashion. So it's a beginning, and so it's not just praying to deities, which is, of course, a part and parcel of this thing. But at the same time, my personal philosophy is that today is the year by which you have to start with a fresh thinking and with a positive attitude. So thank you very much for even, having this podcast today, which is a new beginning for me.
Well, and it's a new beginning for both of us, Pratima, because I'm really happy in this podcast to talk about our new collaboration with Cicada and what I'm doing and your new nonprofit organization that you founded last year, I believe, was the beginning of Volunteering for Seniors. Mm-hmm. So we are starting a new relationship, the two of us, with these organizations. And I would like my audience to know a little bit more about Volunteering for Seniors.
Absolutely. To begin with, to tell you exactly about Volunteering for Seniors, I can actually, if you're okay, I can run through my personal journey as to why I started, this organization itself. There was a lot of challenges which I have faced, as a person, as a girl, taking care of my parents who were living in, of course, which comes under long distance caregiving. I live in US here, and my parents were both in India. So the reason we started this, first and foremost is although it is very tempting, when you hear that when your parents call, right, they need your help, that you want to just jump into your car, or for us, in my case, jump into a plane. Every time our elderly loved ones call us and tell there's a problem, and there's some sort of complaint, which is, hardly reasonable. And your own perception, of that problem, not to mention fear, is often the clouds that issue, right? And it makes it seem very detrimental. And then that's a time when you keep asking yourself, like, is my parents' health at stake? Can that issue be resolved with just one phone call? Will my traveling to my parents' home really provide a long-term solution, or just some sort of temporary solution for my parents? There's a number of things which started, when I had, taking care of my parents. There's a lot of feelings of guilt, which was also popping within me, actually, will I really keeping in touch or not really able to run there often to take care of them, and that there was amazing amount of guilt which was trying to pop in, am I even a trustworthy family caregiver? Am I able to take care of them completely? And I felt there's a lot of feeling of resentment and guilt which was popping around. And then finally, I made sure that, the best way to take care of my parents who are staying far away and giving them the full support and care is to get them where I am, where I lived. And it was a very difficult task, for convincing my parents who had their life well settled back there with their friend circle, with their cousins, with their relatives. And then, giving them the confidence that life won't be way different here because I'll be there for them for every single time, when they call me, and there's so many situations that you have to be in regular touch with them. So I was successful in getting both my parents here in the year 2017. And by that time, both of them had their own health issues. My mother was at that time in the initial stages of a cancer, which I didn't know at that time. And my dad already was a stroke patient. After getting them here, taking care of them and making sure, they had all sort of, doctors, physicians support and regular caregiving, I did realize that there was something else that was missing. And that was basically when I was trying to talk about myself, because I felt a little bit out of loop in many things. Like, when it comes to how supportive your siblings are. Like, I do have a sibling back there, but I didn't, there was a support thing because there were so many things you cannot take care of your parents all by yourself. I realized myself is that it is not just me in this situation. There were so many people in this country too, and back in our country, everywhere, worldwide, they all are facing these situations. So that's the time I realized that I need to start an organization by which we can help people who are like me, who are in the same, surrounding like me. And it is not just me, Angelina. I wanted to also make sure that it was me and Ram together. We decided that we need to support a lot of such seniors. I mean, caregivers, family caregivers who need to support their, elderly loved ones here in this country. When I say elderly loved ones, not everyone's children are next to them. They're all staying very far away. Within the US, you have kids who are in East Coast, some are in West Coast, and the parents are in somewhere else. And, that's the reason we started this organization. And when it comes to VFS, I want to very nicely tell here that for the people, for the viewers, to know what we do, is that this organization is, the main mission for us is to make sure that seniors don't feel lonely, which most of they are, they don't feel lonely. And we make sure, we bring about our volunteers who provide friendly visits. We do a lot of virtual volunteering, bring about meal services. We create different events for them. And much more. It is not just for one sect of seniors, but for everyone. A lot of diversity is there. And our services also include giving our seniors a platform to express themselves. We always tell them, come out and speak for yourself too. And we are very fortunate that many of our volunteers, they have created and they're still creating connections and friendships with all our seniors, who have joined us to become our members. It's a completely free service, so and I can say, this organization's main aim here is to serve elderly citizens in all-inclusive manner and enabling them to live a life which is more active, more dignified, and in having a healthier life.
Yeah, that is quite a journey, and I remember we started working together when you were finishing your master's degree about 10 years ago, and I remember you going through that process of having the conversations of trying to bring your parents to the United States, and so I know that was quite a journey for you. So they both came to live with you, and during that time, they've gone through there's been some various developments that have happened with your parents. And is your father still with you now?
Yes, he does live with me. And, I'm still taking care of him because he's, having a lot of orthopedic issues too. Yeah, he's a stroke patient initially. Yeah.
Yes. And your mother passed?
My mother, I lost her in the year 2020 to cancer because she already had the stage 4 cancer that time. And from 2019, it was detected in the early Jan of 2019 that she had the, the gallbladder. It was a gallbladder cancer, which was already into stage 4. So we knew that the process was, but she didn't want to go into any sort of chemo. So wanted to have a very caring and family who can just be next to her. So we tried to do our best all the way from 2019 February onwards, all the way till the last 2020 of August. was very
You know,
hard.
one of the things that you and I have talked about before is how difficult it is to provide support for
Mm,
our aging parents,
mm.
and know where the line is between being supportive and letting them have their autonomy and their dignity, and trying to figure that out. And I think that's difficult for caregivers to know when to step in and when to step back.
That is 100% true. Because when you say autonomy, as we have, it was a very big, as you know, and we do a lot of, I was doing a lot of webinars and talking with the caregivers. And we realized when it comes to autonomy part of it, yes, when it comes to my own parents, we made sure like it was their choice, whether they want to go with this type of services. So there's, there are a number of services which is provided by the government. Do you want to take it or no? And if there is some health issue, do you want to accept that particular medication or not? There are cases where and there's, at that particular age for seniors, they may accept it easily, in certain cases where they simply want to stop it and say, no, this is my choice and I don't want to take any more medications. And that's where the situation starts, even when you give them autonomy. Because in my father's case, it was very difficult because my mother was way different. Each person is different. Coming to when in the case of her cancer thing, it was easier for me because for her, she understood. It was she right before the oncologist took a decision, very bright decision that, and very strong opinion was heard. Like she said, like, no, this is a time I don't want to stretch myself with medications, and I just want to have a very best life right now and a good quality of life. Whereas in my dad's case, it is different, and it's the same in everyone's life, because for him medications are important, but he did not like it. He was always against taking medicines. So I had to step in because I become his a person who is with him always, and I advocate for him. And there were certain cases, I'm saying, when it comes to autonomy, there are positive pros and cons. Pros, yes, they are good. Like, you're telling them everything, giving them an action, what action do you want to take? But in certain points, you need to step in as a family caregiver, when you become your daughter or son, saying that, no, certain things are needed for you and you need to accept this. So it was always challenging. Yeah.
It is challenging to know if you're doing the right thing. And you mentioned guilt. And I think there's guilt, and also just the uncertainty of, am I doing the right thing? Or what should I be doing? Or can I do something else? Or should I do more? And you had a really wonderful presentation about overcoming caregiver guilt.
Yes.
Could you say a little bit more about your experience with that guilt?
Yes, this guilt is always there. Before I talk about the guilt, remember I was talking about sometimes a lot of us like me, they have very unsupportive siblings. And again, when I say unsupportive sibling, I have only one sibling. But even with unsupporting, remember one thing in life, I've always remembered, is a mindset. We need to understand that we have to figure out some sort of mindset shifts for dealing with this type of family members. And there's also we have to let go of expectations. This is what I believed a lot when taking care of my parents, and build up your own support system. That's what I tell to everyone, when they're taking care of parents. And you have to stick boundaries, and you have to stick to them, and probably the mindset, what you understand, may not be same mindset of thinking of your siblings. They may be afraid of taking any responsibility. So you have to understand, and you need to also understand that you're not the only person you're struggling. Because when you're in a supportive group, there are people who come about and they will talk about it. That is one thing when I was coming to the, when it comes to the mindset shifts, which I really worked on that. And it was not difficult because, of course, you need a supportive family. For me, that was very big, positive point in my life was I have a wonderful family with a wonderful husband, Ram, who was always like my shadow. Every small decision I took, taking care of my parents, taking them to doctor's visit. And, it is not easy. In a month, we have to go 3 or 4 visits to physicians to check them. It's not always me running around. He took the equal responsibility. And I always say that it is not possible in any family if you don't have your other half, your partner, being with you always and supportive in this. Else, I've seen, that's where it comes. A guilt comes into picture when you cannot do things. That's the biggest guilt that hits a lot of caregivers, the family caregivers, is that why is it I'm stressed? And the stress comes to you because you're not getting support from all angles. And they do that. And it's not, I have seen that too. I've seen people calling me say that, hey, you know what? I'm not getting any support from the family. I feel very depressed. I feel very sad. I don't come that under that situation for now because I got a big support. I wouldn't have been in a position to even get my parents if I was not getting support from my husband. And I think that's what is very much needed. And the guilt that hits us is, one is that part of guilt. Another guilt is that, am I doing the required things which I need from my parents? Like, for example, the best example is actually, when I took my mother to hospice. There were a lot of guilt feelings within me, which was hitting me. Like, I know it's the end stage of my mom. During the end stage, the things which was given to her, things which were medically, certain things, you don't accept it. And then you know that is needed for your mother, to have a very smooth ending. You need to accept certain things and go forward. But that was the biggest guilt, even that continued with me. Even after she passed and she left me, there was a big feeling of guilt, like, did I do something right? Was it even right on my part to take her to hospice? Instead of hospice, why didn't I take her back to the hospital? Maybe they could have saved her. But the point is that it's not wrong what I thought, but it was not at all wrong, me taking her to hospice, because that was the biggest support that she could get. That is the right thing that had happened. But this is one part of guilt that happens. Second part of guilt is, in my case, of course, taking her there. Second part is when you give certain medications, and you always keep thinking at home too, even for my father now, you have to give certain medications. The guilt that comes there is, giving these medications, is it really going to help him, or is it going to deteriorate his health? And there are so many pros and cons in that. So everywhere you have to fight it. You have to fight it. And for that, you need to have a positive mindset. Yes, this is going to really work for your parent. There's so many things I can talk about guilt here. One is taking care. Like, even when I work, there are situations, because with that age, your parents do fall. They tend to fall. The fall is something which is very common with parents. When they fall, with so much support system too, we have people who come and take care of him too. Even with that thing, there are situations when he falls. And then you have another guilt coming, like, probably, again, I'm not doing the required caregiving. Then why is my parent constantly falling in certain situations, even though I'm providing him with all the equipments and support systems? So the guilt comes in different forms. It's not just, it's very difficult to define what is guilt. There's a lot of resentments always coming and popping in and out of our head.
I also am thinking about perhaps the guilt or the conflict. And I know you said you have a very supportive family that all came together. I know you have two beautiful daughters as well with Ram, but also, Pratima, there's some guilt too, because there's not enough of you to go around to take care of all of the things that you need to take care of, working, being a mother, being a partner, and now taking care of aging parents. So could you speak to that a little bit about how did you find the balance to do all the things that you felt were your responsibilities in life?
Mm-hmm. Wonderful question, Angelina. This is something I'll tell from my heart. We all strive, for balance in our lives, right? When we're, I can say, nimbly tossing all our arrows in the air, and we're navigating the trajectory where it's going. Sometimes one of the arrows is caring for our aging parents. Our sense of personal balance is constantly challenged. And now, like, for example, in my case, I had children when I bought here. Both my daughters were still in high school and middle school at that time. And it was, we entered that sandwich generation zone where, myself and my husband, we were soon overtaxed and, mostly stressed out with, taking care of them, taking care of my parents. And there's a lot of anguish and anxiety that time popping around us. So there's a strange combination of tasks, which was mixed with constant uncertainty level of, I can say, anxiety, impossible to describe sometimes, and I have to sometimes feel very blessed, like the career I had, the career I am still having, where I run my preschool, where I take care of my online tutoring program, where I have a flexibility, where I could take care. I made sure that I don't want to jump away from this lifestyle of this career, because this was what could help me take care of my parents in need. There were many opportunities where I could say, hey, you know what? I got a better opportunities. I can leave everything and just go and work there. It's not possible. I can't travel. I can't travel over places, different places, and take flight and tickets and say I have to travel an hour drive. No. So I was able to, again, make sure I can balance my life in a wonderful way by means of which around the clock I can watch my parents, do my work, pay our bills. And at the same time, a big support system, as I constantly keep telling, is also from my daughters and my husband. All through their, it was a difficult time, as I can tell, because they were in the high school stage, getting into colleges. I couldn't give that much attention to them, but they could figure out, neither to my husband. We were very much focused into other things, how we can take care of my parents. And they managed them. So I think life teaches you many things, and they were able to navigate their own situations. They were able to bring about this stuff, and they, in every application forms and everything, they were never asking, like, they finished everything and they showed us, we could do it myself. And at the same time, they were a right-hand support system too. There were times when we both were busy in some other activities, where we both are into community service, whether it is our town, Eastern town work, or it was just the outside community work. We try to keep ourselves busy in other activities too, to keep our mind running and to keep always positive. When we do that, it was our daughters who came into picture, and they made sure they took care of them when we're not here. So definitely, I would say, it is a village. You need a whole village to take care of your loved ones. It's not just one or two family members. And in my case, in our personal case, we had a wonderful family system where everyone tried to bring about some sort of balance and, taking care of each other. And that really helped my parents. And I think that brought to my mother, even the last years of her life, amount of happiness that this was the best period of her life, where she could spend the best of time, just spending and having some discussions, not always with her daughter or her son-in-law, but with her grandchildren, which makes a huge difference in their lives.
Well, it's a beautiful time for everyone, because I'm sure that it also enriched your daughters' lives to have that time with their grandmother that they wouldn't have gotten had you not brought your parents here.
Absolutely. And I think myself and Ram, my husband, we developed, I think after taking care of my parents, when we learned that too, we developed a deep appreciation for all seniors, family members and family caregivers who are all here to continuing to provide passionate care for seniors, adults through different programs. We have seen them doing in different organizations, how they're helping. So that particular emotional connection that we had, it infused us to actually even get into this organization of volunteering for seniors, Angelina. That's really, that's one part of mission which draws you there, right? And basically, a mission to make sure that you help every senior. It only comes when you have personally seen in your life certain things, and you start appreciating that work more. And that is very important. Like, I think for me, I think, and for him too, I believe, I know 100% that we can't help but feel a sense of responsibility to give back.
That is such a journey of transformation, a personal transformation. And to carry light into the world through that difficult time and all of those anxieties, you learn, you grow, you change, and then you bring something back to others to help them as well. And, you were saying earlier that you were so fortunate and blessed to have family and so much support as you went through this time. But there are so many people that don't have that support. And I know that volunteering for seniors, that's your vision, is to help fill the gap for those who don't have those family members, not only the seniors, but the caregivers who may be doing this alone.
Yes, that's one of the wonderful questions. The entire process, while we were talking about seniors, when I started a support group for caregivers, I realized that the health journey for seniors and their family caregivers can be particularly complex, and it is fragmented for basically older adults, where I know, as per research, I think 2/3 of seniors in this country, they have at least 2 chronic conditions. So with overwhelming majority of, the healthcare dollars, all the seniors and their family givers, they spend, managing all these chronic conditions, the healthcare insurance, all the providers, everyone is they come into a zone, they come into an alignment, the desire that one needs to take care of the seniors in the least restrictive and most cost-effective manner. And that's where I think I always tell the families and the providers, basically, when I say providers, it has to be the caregivers. They all need new tools, to support care systems, how to help them with the medication management. And that's the biggest thing I've seen is to, even whether it is the seniors or the family caregivers, one needs to understand how to assemble your team. So a family member who tries to fly on their own, as a family caregiver, they can also bring about some unintended danger to their own health. And I've observed that too. We all have observed that, and the health of their parents, by not knowing, what are the right approaches to take care. So that's where I always talk about getting a team, talking with a team, a group, or finding out certain organizations who can help you. That'll help you to approach to reduce the likelihood that will, that the caregiver will suffer from the burnout. There's a lot of burnout issues coming. Like, some have to even sacrifice their own career. I have seen people sacrificing their marriage. The marriage is broken down. They miss out so many activities in their life. So for all these things, you need some sort of support system. And that support system only comes when you have a certain team helping you. And the challenge today, unlike the generations past, is that most of the seniors, they are living alone with no family members nearby. And as we all know, longevity is becoming increasingly common. And that means, you come to a point in your life when you have no family members at all. And there comes the point where you need support groups. So support groups is the one which is an extra layer of support. It is a place to listen to others in a similar situations. Not always you have family members next to you, right? That's exactly where I wanted to bring there, like support groups. Even within our organization or anywhere, you have the meetings which is held. It's not just in one organization. In a number of places throughout the country, you have all these meetings going on. They have groups, they have online sessions going on. So I tell to the seniors and to caregivers, get into that habit of getting into the support groups. Get ideas from, people, for different people with the same issues. And that's very helpful. That'll help you transition from a place where you're feeling like, I'm the only one, like to a place where, you're not alone. You don't have to fly solo. Most of the time you feel I'm alone. I'm flying solo. I'm pretty sure nobody's having a situation like me. That's not the case. So the journey, I would say, is that every senior and their family caregivers, are, it can be challenging, but you need to also reach out to your friends, trusted friends, skilled professionals, or organizations like VFS to help them to basically right your ship, and sustain through the journey. That's very much needed. Getting help. A lot of seniors don't want to ask for help. And I have seen that in this town itself, Angelina. So many don't want to ask for help. They think we can manage themselves. You have to think about it. That do you need care? But, and this is also for caregivers. They have to think about it. Do you need care? And you want to live with someone who can't stay with you during the day, then you have to think about the situations. For example, maybe you want to work. So when you're working, is there some other place, find out a group which can really come and take care of your parent, your adult parent, when you're out doing in some sort of other works. So that's why you have these adult daycare centers, and then, you have the different insurances which help them, which help the caregivers to have the respite. Like, you take your day off, go and have your own life, and you drop your parent for the morning to evening session at adult daycare centers, which is, of course, outside the home, is sometimes available. And for some, it's not. But you should make use of these resources. And that's the biggest thing to talk about. Yeah, it's about resources. If I get time, I can definitely talk a lot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I would like to talk about that, but I think we need to circle back a little bit because in the last 3 years, right, we've seen this huge, and I know you were right in the middle of it. I mean, you're an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, a family, a family-oriented person, taking care of her parents, her father now, running your preschool business, also the tutoring business that you also are involved with. And then we have COVID-19. and we have to change the way that we're doing everything.
Right.
And it became very difficult to make those connections. Also, in particular for seniors, because I also do a lot of work with seniors myself, that moving to an online format for some was not an easy transition, and for some it's not possible at all. And so we're in this generation where there's a kind of bridge happening. I think in another 10 years, another 15 years, more seniors will be, more computer savvy, and they will want to do that, and that will be a part of their lives. But I know that learning something new on your own, the senior center I was working with at the time, they were providing wonderful support to get people on these Zoom calls, but that can be, inspire a lot of anxiety, learning something new, and just trying to figure out a new technology is a little bit overwhelming for people. So in some cases, COVID has made the things that you're talking about impossible. And in other cases, it's really made us have to be innovative about the ways we're going to create these communities and these connections. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, that's very true. COVID has taught us many things. This particular organization was also started, we started volunteering in the year 2021, June. That's a time where we realized, we saw how 2020 was and what had made the feelings of the seniors and what were they undergoing. Most of the seniors who I knew and who approached me, and I was trying to help them even before we started this organization, they were not computer savvy. And they basically, wanted so much help with computer help and virtual volunteering. They wanted someone to even at least come online, talk to them, and, have some friendly talk just in the phone, or just talk about, how you're doing, just have the wellness call. So I, used to do that. I made sure that we had a couple of our little friends, a little group of friends, which we decided that we should do that. We should just call, talk to all the seniors around us who we know. And then we found that there were so many seniors who we were having some interaction. They wanted to see so many things on Zoom. They wanted to talk to people virtually, and they were not able to do it because definitely they were not much computer savvy. So during that difficult COVID time too, we made sure that, a couple of our volunteers, we used to go to their place, ask them with their permission if we could come and even teach them in person how we could do it. And it was easy, it was not that difficult. Basically we're not touching anyone, but, explaining them the basic concept of using their computers. And some of them were, of course, technical savvy. They were particularly very tech savvy. So they were able to easily come on Zoom, understand the concepts of how to work on it. That was good. Then making sure that, once they got into the virtual volunteering, they was able to do, getting into the computer ways and, able to talk with us virtually, we were able to do so many activities for them. There was more like storytelling, there were art activities, there were, there was music sessions, which was going on virtually. So all these things helped the seniors come out of that loneliness, the feeling that we are only sitting quietly, we have nobody taking care of us. No, we made sure that, we're all there around them for any basic help. It was a very difficult situation too. We did find that some of the seniors wanted help, but they didn't want anyone to even help them come to their house because of the COVID situation. That's the time we helped them, just, asking them, do you need any grocery help? So we could go and get the grocery just dropped near the house, right outside the house. We went for the masks. We were able to go and get the masks and give them, so many things, whatever we can to a certain limit we could do during the COVID time. It didn't go away as such, even now after, the post-COVID time too, even though now volunteers are coming out and they are pretty active coming out, they want to go to the shopping. They still need us. They need us a lot. Because I've seen the seniors who want to go to different therapies. They don't want to go all by themselves. So they call us, they tell like Pratima, do you have someone who can help us? We just want to go for some sort of therapy. So then immediately some of our volunteers are all ever ready. They jump in and then they go and help them. So there are hurdles. There's so many things that happen. But I think what we learned is that we need to connect them giving them different resources really helps them. So that's the point which comes, Angelina, is that some of them wanted to know more about healthcare. How can healthcare help them? What are the different resources they can get? So we try to connect them with a number of community awareness organizations or aging companies who can go and give them a personal touch. If any information they wanted inside their home, or really taking care one-to-one. We did that with them. And then there were seniors who constantly wanted us to tell them, like, what am I doing is right or not? Am I calling the right person or not? Even now, we do that. Wellness call is our highest thing, because we've seen that so many seniors who keep calling us, there are a few days there's no call from their end at all. So we make sure that we give them a call and making sure that, they are getting the proper medication, where they're even able to go to their doctors and meet their physicians on time. If not, what's the reason? Then we try to connect with their physician, let them know that this particular patient needs to meet you. Is there any way you can call them or have a, virtual talk? We did that during the COVID time too. So there were so many things that we did during the COVID time. It was we had a lot of issues that time because, as you know, everybody could not meet in person, but we tried our best and tried our best to make sure that, we are all navigating, through a maze of resources and making sure we're trying to balance and help them.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing organization and the vision that you had to create it with your husband, Ram. It's quite inspiring. And I also am wondering, like, how many people are involved right now with volunteering for seniors at this time?
At this time, we have around 60 volunteers who are not just in the state of Mass. We have few from North Carolina. We have few from Pennsylvania, also a good number from New Hampshire. And now in other states too, they're realizing that this is basically like this organization should be like a stream and like a chain, which only one person cannot do. It's an organization which is formed and which will continue to develop only with the help of all volunteers and dedicated volunteers. And right now, we do have a good number of volunteers, but they're all awaiting. Of course, we need to give them different tasks. The only issue that we face is that in certain regions or in certain towns, most of our volunteers are there. We can't get all the seniors there because each of the volunteers can only go to certain miles, like 10 to 15 miles, to go and help the seniors. So we're always in need of volunteers from different towns to come and, fill up their application online and, ask that, could we come and join your organization? We are always welcoming. We need more and more people joining us because need for help is never going to end. We constantly get calls, we constantly get emails from adults asking for help. So even if it's right now only 60 and maybe a little more, but we definitely want more volunteers to pop in and ask, and showing their enthusiasm. This is an organization where volunteers can only help if that feeling comes from within their heart. It's not something that, we can give you any credits for that.
Right. And that's so true. And also everyone brings a different skill set or some kind of talent or something that they can offer. Maybe it's behind the scenes. And for instance, I will be working with your organization to bring together. So Cicada is partnering with Volunteering for Seniors to bring the For the Love of Books to the Easton Public Library, Ames Free Library, for the first Mondays of the month. For the next few months, we'll see how that's received and how well it goes. So we're starting that soon in April. And also you have a cultural tour de force coming up that I want to talk about, this big event. So Pratima, what is a cultural tour de force?
Culture to the Force it's a tribute to all our seniors. It's a very big tribute we're trying to do. This is the very first time our organization wants to do a big event by means of which we want to get all seniors come together and form like a club. It is not just for seniors, it's all for the family members there. If they have their grandchildren, everyone, we're welcoming everyone. This wonderful cultural tour is basically a place where we want to show the tribute is different. Basically, they're going to dance, a group of dancers who are going to dance. They're going to show us a different dance from different cultures, maybe from different countries. And that's going to basically bring about, we want to bring about an activeness, activity among the seniors. They're getting more excited, in their life, and we want to bring happiness within them. We would love that everyone comes together. It's the very first event, so we want to show them about this organization, that's the biggest thing we want to show. This is not meant for just one sector of people, not from one ethnicity. It is a diverse platform. It is a place where we want to get together all seniors together, share their issues, talk about the positivities in their life. If they all are doing some sort of sports or any physical activities, they can talk about it. But this is a one particular event where we just want to get them together and feel at home. And that's how they will meet. And and they'll be able to meet all the people who are running this organization. Also, the volunteers who've been doing, we want to talk about them too, just taking, a few minutes their time so that they will also understand that this organization is done, or it's been running with a set of strong, dedicated people. And I'm telling you, and I do want the seniors who come there and to make sure the seniors are also there to help seniors. We have a lot of seniors coming forward and saying, we would love to help. The 65 and above people, 70 and above, who say, we are still energy. We have still a lot of energy. We want to come about and help people. They are most welcome. We are looking for a lot of seniors to come about and ask us for, we want to come and sign up as your volunteer. So on that day, we will be also having basically membership forms where we want the seniors who want our help, they can just take the form and sign. And then we also have forms where any senior or anyone who wants to become a part of our volunteer, they can come and sign up. So there's so many things that will happen on that event day. We will be having even the fresh food will be served there. They can also taste. Plus, there'll be a couple of vendors who will be there. So it'll be more like it's like a small fair, but for all the seniors and their loved ones.
And that is on May 8th, Mother's Day.
Yes.
And where are you going to host this extraordinary event?
We would love to see everyone that we could get, thankful to the Medway High School. We got a wonderful high school at Medway, Massachusetts, and it's their high school. So it starts at 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And we would love to have all the seniors and the caregivers to please go to our website, which is volunteeringforseniors.org. And as soon as you go to our website, there is a section on top, which is called event. When you click on that, the cultural tour will pop up and it'll give you all the information for the tickets, because we do want everyone to come and take the tickets, so that we know that the seats are reserved for seniors. It is all free. So just $10 and a very nominal fee for all others, who are not seniors. And also we welcome a lot of support, because it's a nonprofit organization. It's an organization which is just run with the support of, generous people. So if anybody wants to, want to come and support and donate a small amount, they can all do it through our website. There is a donate button there, and there is also flip cost things there. Anybody can become their own fundraiser there. They can collect a small fund for the organization. Every small amount that comes, we make sure that we are, buying stuff for seniors and helping a lot of seniors in assisted living who have no one. That's our biggest target. So that's the one place where we try to help seniors in the low and moderate income group, seniors, where we go and I literally ask them, what are the things that they're looking for? Some of them are looking for, the orthopedic socks. We go and get that for them. Most of them asked us for computers. Some of them asked us for monitors for that. Some of their, computer monitors are not working. We're even helping with that. Technical support, n number of technical support we are doing them, which actually the people living in assisted living, they definitely cannot afford. It's the biggest help our organization does, which is the technical support of hours together. It's not just 1 hour. We help them weekly, twice or thrice, calling them, going there in person and helping. There's so many things the organization does. And I think this is one event where we can, when everyone comes, they can know more about what all we do. And if not, if for some reason, if some seniors are not able to come, we are always telling them, please call us, or even email us, and we can get back to you, and we'll let us know, we'll let you know what all we offer for you and how we can help you.
I was looking at your website, Pratima, and there was one thing that really caught my eye, which was this letter writing, the letter writing campaign that you're doing. Could you talk a little more about that? Because I think that's a really sweet way to bring people together.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that topic, Angelina. Letter writing is something which I personally saw. I went to a couple of senior centers to meet some seniors, and then I felt that some of the seniors, they always were looking for a beautiful letter from their grandchildren or someone who cares for them, and they wished a letter comes to them. This was long before I even started this organization. So that's the time I realized that why can't we all come together, each one writing a small, beautiful card or a small letter, which just states how much, talking about all positive things, what you have done, and, asking them what they have done, what they want to do in life, what music they love, what pictures they love to move, what movies they want to go to. So many things just to make that interaction more interactive. And it was interesting that the moment we started this little campaign, so many people came forward, so many people wrote letters, especially the kids. We almost had like 25 elementary kids too, who wrote letters, and all of them were given to the seniors in a senior center. And it was an amazing response. Some of the seniors wanted to write back to them. So the way we address is definitely we just take all the letters, everything without the senior's name there. We go and hand it over to the senior centers, and they give it to their seniors there. But we always tell to their directors of senior centers that any senior who wants to write back to us, they're most welcome. Just addressing to our the Volunteering for Seniors address there, they can send back, ask us, they want to have the repeated letters coming from us. We actually want our volunteers to do that. If there are any volunteers who would love to write letters on regular basis, not just 1 week, but to make it like a monthly basis, just write one letter to a senior and just take it and drop it at a senior center, and then on top of that, just put that, you are to, this is written from Volunteering for Seniors, and you're sending that, we know, and then, you can email us and saying that we have sent so-and-so letter to so-and-so senior center. We track with them. We make sure that, that senior has gone through it. There's one senior who has read those letters, and then we keep that interaction between them. We make sure that that senior keeps on getting letters from that particular volunteer who has the interest. It's really helped. And I've seen a couple of beautiful testimonials which has come to us from some of seniors who were overwhelmed with joy, some with tears, that they haven't got letters from their own loved ones for so many years. That adds even to the COVID time. And they felt like there's someone who really cares about them. There was a senior who loves to read books, and he was amazed by one of the letters he or she, of course, she got by one of the volunteers who talked more about books. So this brings about connection, and the connections which will keep on increasing. And there will be a time when we want to make sure all these volunteers who have written letters, to take them to the senior center and also do a small event where we would call upon the seniors, and they can meet these volunteers who wrote letters to them, to have that amount of bonding with them. This really made us all happy. Every single volunteer who wrote these letters, they were overjoyed, when they heard that the seniors wanted to hear more from them. So it's a very big project, and we're still continuing that.
Yes, I think it is so important to develop those relationships. That is how we are relational beings. We are human beings, and we need relationship to thrive and to grow and to feel fulfilled. And so I think what you're doing is amazing. There's something else too on your website here where you're gathering stories, the collection of stories about seniors. And that's a really interesting. I've seen some beautiful testimonials there happening, stories about seniors and what they're doing. Can you say how you came about to do this?
Thank you, Angela. This is it's a wonderful question, because this was again something which I was going to a grocery store, and I had, I just met with one of a senior person. I have a habit of always talking to any seniors I see wherever in my life, wherever I go, where I walk. And I had an interaction with her, and it was a time, and I just asked her, what do you think that you like most? And she said all through her, her younger days, when she was in her 20s or 30s, she still loved writing books. And then as the years passed, as she had a lot of health issues, she stopped writing all the stories. I did ask her, when you were writing stories, it was what is more motivational? Did you get motivated when you're writing? She said, yes, it was mostly about her uncles and aunts who actually motivated her life, and that made her shine in her, mid 30s and 40s and 50s. So which actually gave me an idea. Why don't we start this story, the Golden Age storybook, where we ask not just youngsters, but everyone, that includes all seniors, to come and share their experiences in life. Because there are many seniors who had wonderful stories to talk and tell about what motivated them in their life. Okay, there were so many seniors who got motivated from their uncles and aunts who were in defense, or there were some who had actually been really were not even educated, but just looking at them, with their spirit and with their, the motivation life, how they took care of their grandchildren, how they took care of the children with not much education. There's so many things that motivate some people in your life. So that I said, can you just put it on paper, in your own words? And we want to make sure that we collect all the stories, and this will motivate so many seniors to run through it, to read it, and also youngsters. The younger generation need to know that, like, what is it that motivates you? What has motivated you when you look at your grandfather? What motivated you when you look at your grandmother? And today you see yourself in this position. How can you thank them for that? So, and I was actually amazed that so many people are still thinking about it, how to put in words and write it. But I really want more and more people to get in. Right now, we just started a few months before, and we're having a good number of people who wrote it, but we need definitely more people writing stories and sharing with us.
Yeah, I love that. I love the collection of stories. And what did you call that? The Golden Age storybook? Did you?
Golden Age storybook. Yes, Golden
Age. I love that.
Storybook.
That's
Thank
really
you so much.
beautiful.
And I think, Angelina, it's like, for example, the wonderful writer like you, we need someone like yourself and so many others who can really express their feelings. And also I tell it need not be your immediate grandparents, not be your parents. It can be anyone that you were in touch with. You must have been in connection with some seniors in your life, or anyone in your life who motivated you so much that you want to write about them. This is the best platform to come about. And the way our organization now thinks is, we sat about, we talked about it in our board, and we decided that once we collect all these wonderful stories, we do want to publish it too, eventually.
Oh, that'll be wonderful. I'm really looking forward to that.
Thank you.
So I want to shift a little bit here into, let's see, as we look at what's happening in the world today, and as you've come through this time of taking care of your parents, managing to adapt to all the changes through COVID-19, now we're in this post-COVID stage, whatever is coming, we never know. You've started this organization, but we look around at the world today, and you're bringing people together. And what do you have to say to encourage individuals to make that connection, or to keep themselves from being overwhelmed with despair about what they see happening in the world?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. There were a couple of situations, what is happening now in Ukraine. And there's worldwide a lot of disturbances happening emotionally, physically to so many people. So this is an example which I would always say to, some of the volunteers who wanted to initially join, and then they step back saying that, I don't have really anyone to take care. I don't have any parents here who I should take care, or my parents in whichever place they are, they're pretty healthy now. Whether your parents are healthy, or you're fortunate enough to have parents who can take care of themselves. One thing which, this organization we would like to preach from our end is, you need good Samaritans everywhere in life. You don't need that overconfidence for anybody. You don't know what happens the next moment. Probably your parents are doing excellent in one country, wherever they are, very happy. But do you know what happens next day? Nobody can predict. Do you think even in Ukraine they predicted what happened today? No one predicted. Any country where they're suffering, whether it is seniors or youngsters or women, men, anyone. One needs to learn to work with empathy right from beginning. Talking about compassionate, talking about understanding of feelings for others only comes when you do something for others. When you physically put yourself in their shoes and understand what is their suffering and how can I take care of them. That's where I always tell, you have to put yourself in the shoe. You please don't tell, because there's so many people who tell basically I want to talk about these high schoolers. Okay, can I get this, credits? Yes, you do get. But this is an organization, even for adults, for anybody who comes here. Please do it. If to develop more empathy within yourself, develop more compassionate, because if that is developed, automatically this type of war, this type of ill feelings for someone else, talking that, They are not, coming even for religions. Who cares about religions? At least in my case, I feel these are not things which is important right now. There's only one religion in the world, that is humanity. And if you don't take care of humanity, everything is gone. So when you fight with each other, you're breaking the humanity here. So when there is no humanity left, there's no empathy left, there's no compassionate left. Where do you talk about religions, which every good religion will talk about taking care of oneself, taking care of others? So it starts right here. The first step you should take is take care of elders. Take care of someone who's lonely. Take care of someone who has lost everything. Take care of someone who's lost something in life, who's handicapped. The moment you learn that empathy, automatically every single person in this world, they divert from the feeling of thinking something else. Okay, let me talk about getting more money now. Let me talk about taking stuff away from that person, taking away stuff from this person. No. Everything will go away, because finally you understand the only thing that one person needs at the end of their life is peace. The peace only comes when you start helping each other. So that's the important thing which today's world has to realize. Where you live is nothing. What you have is temporary. What you do will live with you forever. Because once you leave this world, people will only talk, will you become a good example and say, oh, this person did so much for those people. Now we need to do like them to be in that path. You're creating a path, creating that chain is important. And that's what is needed throughout the world now.
That's amazing. And I want to follow up with that, because you said something earlier too about that this needs to come from the heart, that you don't want something in return for it. And both of us are doing this work in the world where we're offering something for free, and it's not about monetary gain. What am I going to get in return? How am I going to support it? And sure, I'm sure you as well as we both wonder, how are we going to pay the bills? How are we going to make this work? But if you're offering from the heart, something miraculous starts to happen, that what you need is provided for you. It may not be in the way that you thought, right? It may not show up in that you're making money, or that you're I don't know. It just, for me, it never shows up the way I think. But I also, oftentimes when I just recently did a workshop, and it was the first face-to-face workshop. It was a free workshop. And I came away feeling so energized and excited by that engagement with folks. They were mostly seniors. I came away myself so energized and feeling so good about the day that was its own payment. There's oftentimes things that I do, or the more mundane things at work that I do, and those don't always feed me in the same way, right? Sure. I don't always feel that return. But when you said that about offering, this must come from the heart. And we're in a culture that really wants to see the return on the investment at every, we want to see something. What am I going to get out of that? And I see what you said is there's a shift in mindset, and you're living your life in this shift of mindset. And I think that's an amazing thing to witness. And I really appreciate what you said. So could you say some more about that? Acting and giving from the heart, and this shift of mindset that you're in.
Thank you. And the mindset which I said is very important, because even people, this is something I want to tell. There are some people who are very, very religious, who are very pious, and I respect them too. That's their way of living. So even when, they don't want to go and talk to geriatric case managers, they don't want to talk to any physicians because they think, I don't need anyone's support. So that's where, this is with respect to seniors I want to talk. For them, I always say that if any senior, if they belong to a religious group, then they need to talk with their clergy. They have to check with their even local offices about any senior services even they offer. It can offer. Every religious group can do that too. And then this is very important, because I always say that every senior, if possible, talk to their case managers with geriatric, because trained professionals, they'll come and give them a lot of resources, right? That is more easier. But you have to have a mindset, the positive mindset, like, hey, we are not just doing it. We are not trying to tell you that you're weak. Neither we tell this to the family caregivers. So many family caregivers, I've seen that personally, Angelina, with my interactions. They feel that it's a taboo for them to even go and ask for help. How can that become something? To vent, to tell something that you need help, how can that become something bad? You need to come out and talk about it. You need to feel open. That is nothing. You need to work out what is the long-term plan for that, right? Now, this caregiver cannot be with them, with the loved ones forever. There are situations where family caregivers, they lost their life even before, their loved ones. So what happens to them? So they need to take care of some long-term plans for their seniors. What happens if there's a case manager, how they can take care of them. If something happens to me, or if my family moves away very far away, how can we take care of them? So all these things has to come when the family caregiver, when the seniors, everybody has to come with a positive mindset. Mindset is very important. Number one, just coming to that section.
Sorry, could you say that again?
That is I'm saying with respect to the caregivers and the seniors. Coming to the people, the volunteers, this will only come when you have to go about and help somebody, right? When can I go and you don't need a particular time. There are a few people who think, okay, this is the only month I can help somebody. Fine. We always say, don't feel bad. There's so many volunteers who feel bad. They say like, I feel I want to do, but I can't do because I have to run take care of my family. I have to pay my bills. I don't think I can really involve so much with the organization. This is what I would like to tell to all of them. You have that feeling that's enough. The best you can do from your end, because you have so many other things you have to put on your plate. The best thing you can do is right opposite your house. If there is a senior who needs help, you are now a volunteer from this organization. Just go, knock the door, ask them, do you need any help? You don't have to go and meet a lot of people because you don't have much time. Now you have to create the mindset, the positiveness. Like, I don't have to help everybody who I can only help someone. Fine. Go to one single person, ask, what help do you need? Maybe that person says, on Thursdays, I need this and so help. On Friday, maybe I need someone to take me just for a walk. Could you just spend 1 hour time with that person? Just spend and have an hour time, just going and knocking the door, sit with them and talk. What they need is to take them away from that loneliness, from that isolation feeling. And every volunteer needs to create that positive. It's not like what you get. He may not clap for you. Everybody cannot come and applaud for what you have done. This is something that makes you happy from within. That's what I said. Like, end of the day, when you lie down, when you sleep, what you get, which I get, and I know my husband gets, and all the other people who are volunteers for this organization gets. We get good sleep at night because we feel so happy that we have helped today someone, made them smile, and tomorrow they're going to knock our door and ask us for more help. And that only comes is to create a positivity in your mind. Don't think about your suffering. Everybody has suffering. We are in this world with some sort of suffering. We are not free from any suffering in life. But I think helping someone will clear a path. That is a therapy for us. It's actually a therapy. Me on myself, I had to take care of my parents, when I had to do that, this was a biggest therapy for me. This brought me so much positivity that I said, wow, I can do for them. I can also do for others. So if it is one person can do, I have a very strong feeling every person can do this.
So I would like to know, we're coming to the end of our time together, but what is your vision, Pratima, for the future of volunteering for seniors?
My vision, in one line, I could say that I need everyone to live life to their fullest, making sure that every senior can live life to their fullest. But I think most important lesson I learned, and everybody in this organization have learned is that how little we plan, is how little we plan for the inevitable crisis and how much we all need help. We need to do that. There's a crisis that happens in life for most of the seniors. We need to jump in and help them. And also, and coming to caregivers, they need to understand that how much help you need. If you need help with support system, ask for help. So my main vision is every person, whether it's senior or for caregivers, you need to learn to live life to your fullest. All the volunteers, all the volunteers who help seniors, they eagerly wait to make a long-lasting impact, right, in the life of seniors, and they do that in this organization. And again, it's a win-win situation. And coming to this organization, I'll say we run volunteering for seniors. We also run caregiver support groups. One everybody should know, because caregivers face several tasks of decisions and feelings from dealing with special challenges their loved ones face. Navigating a maze of resources and then balancing through responsibilities, managing their own health. And also, as you also know, Angela, we conduct free webinars, conferences, keynote presentations we do. And all that, I would love everyone to join, because those things focus on supporting the health and self-care of seniors, as well as their family caregivers of older adults.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know that you recently had a conversation on, there was a couple of really good things. We did cover the navigating guilt, but also the Ayurveda and approaches to health for seniors and caregivers. So I know you're always looking ahead, looking to what you can bring to help people with resources, connections that they can make, learning about their own well-being, resilience, how to avoid burnout. I mean, it's just such an intense time when you're caring for those that you love, or even just others in the community. And there's a very real thing, which is, compassion fatigue, that if you're not taking care of yourself, you can get burned out. But if you're sharing those responsibilities with others, then the load is not quite so intense on you. And you can avoid burnout and step away for a weekend or a week or a vacation, and then come back and have so much more to give. So your wise counsel on that, I think, is so important for people. We oftentimes, when we're taking care of loved ones, or even working in nonprofit organizations or with our students, we can just run ourselves down completely, thinking that the more we do, the better off we are, without taking into consideration that it is that time for rest and refreshing, spending time and celebrating with family, as I know you're doing today. Those are the things that refresh us and energize us to come back and offer more.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Angelina. And actually, I wanted to also add here a point as to everyone will get old one day. And this is the reason as I told you, it's to get them out from the loneliness, because as we get older, we may all become more and more isolated, so friends and families are always harder to see. And then isolation becomes a big issue. And this was very true, remember, during the time of pandemic. So senior isolation is very dangerous, because that can result in a number of detrimental factors. It can in depression, anxiety. I've seen people with cognitive decline, increased risk of falls, physical health decline, and of course, higher risk of mortality. With so many things, this organization, when we come about like this, what we're doing now, helping seniors, we give them the positivity in life, bring about more social life for you, the different ways to make you more active, how we can one is using technology and giving them different ideas about new equipments, what you can use. And if they cannot provide, cannot even purchase that, we are here to help you. So I think, which is very much needed today, that we all come together and tell the seniors that you are not alone. We are all here to help you.
Well, I love that, Pratima. Thank you so much for what you have given to your community and what you're giving to the world, for your wisdom that you shared with me today. You're such an inspiration and a mentor and a role model, and I really appreciate our collaboration together. I'm happy that 10 years later, after we met, we can come together and work together in a completely different way. And I'm excited for our work together, our new collaboration, and your stepping into a new phase in your life. And thank you so much for being here and sharing your story with me, Pratima.
Thank you so much for having me, Angelina, and all the best for your work. And I can't thank you enough for hosting this wonderful, the book club for volunteering for seniors. And I love the way we are collaborating. And I would always want to know more and more people who know about this organization also know about your work, Angelina. So thank you very much for having me today.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
If you would like to learn more about Pratima or volunteering for seniors, check out her website, volunteeringforseniors.org, where you can find upcoming webinars, events, and sign up to give back to our senior communities. You have been listening to InterSpace with Angelina Avedano. My heartfelt gratitude and appreciation goes to my husband, David Needs, Senior Production Engineer. If you would like to learn more about me or my work, look for me on Facebook and Instagram, Dr. A. Avedano with Cicada Personal Metamorphosis. That's Cicada with a Y, C-Y-C-A-D-A. Or you can email me at dr.aavedano@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. This is Angelina reminding you that we're all connected.